along the pit straight there, headed for one.
And you know what I think we've learned so far was one of the unanswered questions in testing is cars have never run together. This brand new DP01, as we talked about, was designed so the cars could run closer. This is the very first time that we've ever seen them run together in competition, and I think from what we've seen so far, they can run nice and close and battle. And Champ Car put a ton of resources into making that happen. I think that one has passed.
I mean, you look right there in that shot, there's about 10 cars. Oh, no.
Justin Wilson.
Yep, his problems continue.
Yeah, it's dead.
That's in turn one.
Sorry about that, Justin.
Being moved by the safety workers. And we stay under green for right now.
Okay, it's still running, but no drive, so that's gearbox.
Yep.
No gears.
So Justin Wilson, very disappointed. Started 8th. Cameron Steele.
Well, I've caught up with Joe Barbieri. We've talked about tires already today, and you guys weren't able to test here in Las Vegas. You did get some simulation data. Was it even close?
Well, no, we found out that it's somewhere between 15 to 19 miles an hour quicker than what we expected. So we're going to go back and analyze all this data, and I guarantee you next year we'll bring a different tire here.
Needing a little bit of a harder tire, is that what you're looking for?
Absolutely, yeah. With all the dust and all, that's really chewing these tires up. But the guys will learn to use them, make some adjustments to the cars, and I think we'll still have a great race after all.
Learning to use them means tire management. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Cameron. Race leader, Will Power. Paul Tracy runs second, then Bruno Giacchera in third. Robert Dornbos is fourth.
Paul Tracy maybe closing that gap a little bit on Will Power right now.
And talking about the tire situation, and as Joe Barbieri said, they wish they had gone a step harder. But what's interesting, the more they run here and the more rubber you put down, these tires may be just about right in the very last stint of this race. Right now, the track is still very abrasive, but the more rubber that you lay down on it, the more appropriate this tire will be. So we could have a bang up of a finish once they lay some rubber down.
Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, another gentleman that followed the race was Matt Halliday. What happened to you?
Well, I think there's a lot of chaos at the start. Rahal hit the wall, I guess, in front of me. I don't know why, but I was already had a really good start. Was on the outside of the 3 cars and had nowhere to go. Trying to avoid him and getting crowded and touch the wall and bend the suspension. So it's been a tough weekend. Hopefully next weekend will be better. Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
This is a team that plans to run just the first 3 races of the year. They're hoping to run more maybe later.
Bourdais is coming.
He is. He just forced his way past Robert Dornbos. And there's no question, when he starts getting giddy on the radio, he knows he has a good race car, and Sebastian is coming to the front.
We talked about the Mazda virtual pit stop. Had a chance to text in your answer who has the best chance to unseat Sebastian Bourdais. Paul Tracy starting the season in his own Las Vegas track. The Canadian gets 71% of the vote.
Yeah, those things, that's pretty cool, real time. There's a lot of votes coming in. Bruno Giacchera lost a bit of momentum. Dornbos slides on by.
Through the chicane. Then downhill into the tunnel and up onto the pit straight.
The other advantage that he has is that if there were a caution right now, he would not have to pit. The guys ahead of him would.
Yeah,
and so the 2 drivers, Will Power and Paul Tracy. Yikes.
Does Sebastian have problems?
Dornbos gets by.
Yeah, something's gonna miss.
Yep. The 3-time series champion clearly off the pace.
I don't know what happened. Bit now.
Got it right front. Looks like it's flat.
Cycle the ECU if you can. Cycle the ECU.
No, it's a tire though.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Got flat tires.
Yeah, flat tire.
Gosh, you're good, Ron.
That's really going flat.
It is. That's a long way back to the pits from there.
He's had fantastic luck. He's had full course cautions.
Take it easy, get it around them.
That's 3 flat tires on that car in 24 laps.
But it looks to me like the side of that tire is not black. With the wheel.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he may have rubbed the wall.
Concrete dust.
Yes.
On the side of this.
Yes. See, typically the sidewall of the rim will be dark black anodized finish, and it looks to me like he's got into something.
Really trying to nurse that car. Back to pit road. Up front, Will Power leads Paul Tracy. It was a 2.5 seconds. Both these guys.
When he gets here, we'll do 4 tire change, fill them, and he will pour on the lights. Let's have a good look at this front wing and everything at the front of the car, guys.
It's Kenny Seawick speaking to Sebastian Bourdais.
Make sure none of the suspension is bent. That's one of the most important things.
Both these leaders on the reds.
Well, I guess they don't always tell us the truth after warm-up.
That driver not telling the truth? Come on.
I've been working with Wally a long time. Drivers never tell the truth.
And that's Tagliani.
Tagliani on the move.
Yeah. That would be by Dial. And now Bruno Junqueira, who was really quick, is now off song, unfortunately. At the beginning of the race, he was quick, but now he's actually letting guys by.
Marty.
Well, guys, it took a long time for Sebastian Bourdais to get over here. They want to look at the rear tire as well. As you said, Wally, this is now 3 cut tires on this car. We want to make sure that there is indeed concrete that we might have seen on the right front. Trying to get it back in gear, trying to get off pit road. Finally does that. We're going to check out this right front tire. But an amazing 3 tires on this car so far today.
I think Junqueira is probably just off his tires.
He's certainly dropped way off the pace. Dial now putting a lot of pressure on him, but as we said earlier on, he was really quick in the Dale Coyne machine.
Ryan Dial, a 25-year-old rookie. That black and silver car.
That's a new team, Pacific Coast Motorsports. And some of the veteran teams, like in Newman Haas Lanigan, have really tipped their hat here to Pacific Coast. And they said, as hard as we've had to work all winter as an established Champ Car team with this new car, they've worn out their mechanics. And they said, what on earth with a brand new team like Pacific Coast that they have managed to do as well as they have getting their program together? All the other veteran teams have said, you guys have done a fantastic job.
Dial's teammates with Alex Figge there, right?
Yes.
On the back of the 19 of Junqueira.
Here comes Pagenaud, which is, of course, the same color scheme, the Australian green and gold, as they call it.
Let's check in with Bill Stevens.
Yeah, Jan, you were just talking about Pacific Coast Motorsports. You know, they really are a fascinating operation with Tom Figge, Alex Figge's dad, owning that team, and they really do have the best of everything. Team manager Tyler Tadevik, you'll remember him. A few years ago, he was the head man when John Fogerty won the Champ Car Atlantic Championship.
Wow! Oh, look out! Whew. Like you said, don't want to get offline. That's Tristan Gamandi in the dark blue pay-by-touch machine. And he's on the move.
Looks to the inside.
Wow.
But
here comes Catherine Legg.
Catherine Legg in that 11 machine, the black and gold.
And Catherine's a great racer. She wishes that she was a better qualifier, but once she gets into the races themselves, she's aggressive.
Now, you drove with Catherine this year, right?
Yeah, Catherine drove with my brother, George Robinson, and I at the 24 Hours Daytona, and we had a good time. She did a very good job.
Will Power led 2 races in 2006 for a total of 14 laps. He's led 15 so far today, working on 16.
You know, Will on the approach to that final corner, he almost looked on his approach, not on the exit, almost looks like he's rubbing the car on the wall. I mean, he's really leaving no room for error on the approach there to the final corner before the chicane.
How often is he looking in his mirror to see what Tracy's doing back there?
Hopefully not at all. It's one of the things that you actually train yourself to do, to try not to look in the mirrors, because it takes your focus off what you're supposed to be doing. And look at this. And don't you think they would love to put Sebastian Bourdais a lap down? But if Sebastian's car is in fact okay, I don't think he's going to make that too easy.
There goes Sebastian, then Will Power, and Paul Tracy.
I don't know. You may see the times drop a little bit. You know, when you see a guy like that up front, all of a sudden your focus is to catch him.
In this next section, if we stay with Will Power, I'll be interested to see if he does this again on the approach.
27 laps complete, working lap 28.
It's right after the rhythm section. When he sets up, right here, look at this. He wasn't quite as close, but in the last couple of laps, he's been really rubbing on that entrance.
Now, one thing I noticed, he's been going through the chicane and hitting those bumps, the curbs a little bit harder. Let's watch right here. See, Paul Tracy gets through there a little bit.
Oh, they're both pitting.
The pits.
Both heading for pit road. The two race leaders, Will Power and Paul Tracy, headed for pit road, completing lap 28. So now it's up to the guys on pit road to keep Will Power up front, and Tracy will try and pick up time on the road.
He's in the pit. Then I want you to concentrate on Steve. Look for Steve waving. Concentrate on your marks.
It's Neil Nicolai.
Concentrate on the marks. Everything's fine. I want you to be knowing.
Tracy on the left, Will Power on the right.
But Tracy's pitted ahead. We won't know until Tracy leaves.
Tracy's looking at
Yep, there he went. Yep. And this is the fill. See, typically the car would fill more quickly. If you're going to try and make it a two-stop race, you have to wait for it to fill. Last year, that pit stop would have been much quicker, but you're better off not taking a risk and not getting it all the way full. This is the issue we talked about. Because the venting slows down, they have to wait and wait for it to get all the way full.
So you think Will Power got all fuel?
Yeah, see, that's what they said. One car, Will Power's car has been fueling okay. Simone Pagenaud's car, they've had a lot of trouble with. It just depends. They don't have it quite fine-tuned yet.
Well, we'll see how that plays out for Paul Tracy. Will Power with a quick stop. Stops occurring under the green flag. You're watching the Champ Car World Series on NBC. Our NBC sports team live in Las Vegas for the season opener of the 2007 Champ Car World Series. There you see race leader Alex Tagliani and rookie Simone Pagenaud.
And we heard earlier from Paul Gentilozzi, who was talking about the strategy, and this is the kind of leapfrog effect that you have if you come in early, stay out of trouble. But one thing that we have noticed is the Cosworth power to pass, that extra horsepower, Tagliani has already used it all up. But Simone Pagenaud still has 49 seconds, and Pagenaud is reeling him in. This is his very first Champ Car race. He's right on top of Tagliani.
There you see the rookie. His Champ Car debut, as Jan talked about.
Of course, he is Sebastian Bourdais' protege. And in one of the early sessions, he outran him. And Sebastian was very gracious. He's very proud of him. This guy can drive.
I guess really where you want to use that, obviously, he can't really use it in the rhythm section, but if you can get through the chicane and he can be right on his tail.
Sit there and save some fuel. Long way to go.
That's Rob Edwards talking to Simone Pagenaud. And that would not indicate that he's wanting him to use power to pass. He's like, you got to drive to your fuel number.
Coming to NBC the first Saturday in May, it's the Run for the Roses, the 133rd running of the Kentucky Derby, the world's best thoroughbreds and the most famous race in the world. Don't miss the Kentucky Derby, presented by Yum Brand, Saturday, May 5th on NBC. Up the hill to turn 3, Tagliani and Pagenaud.
If it was your first Champ Car race and you had a chance to move, oh, Sebastian
Bourdais with more issues.
This I think is the end.
Right there.
That's the end.
Bringing the wing back with him, though. 3-time series champ has had a very disappointing weekend here in Vegas.
He told me in spring training
Except you need to get off there. You are damaging a car that we cannot afford to damage further. Get to a safe haven and park it, please.
Marty?
You guys hear the conversation, Bill, with Sebastian Bourdais. They want him to park it. They have to use this car at Long Beach if they can. They do have a backup car. They were planning to try and test these cars at Phoenix, but obviously that may be out the window now. The reason we wanted to talk about this also was because the toe end was knocked in on the car. So the toe link was knocked in on the car. They knew it was going to be a matter of time before they had another tire problem. They just didn't think they would run into the wall like they did last time.
And sometimes when it's towed in, it can actually let go. So it may have been that piece let go. And what I was starting to say was in spring training, Sebastian Bourdais said, you know, you can't win a championship in the first couple races, but you can sure lose one. And I'll bet he's thinking about that at this very moment.
It's a tough start. And this series begins with 3 straight road course races in 3 consecutive weeks. Long Beach next week, you'll see it on NBC. Then on to Houston.
I was also starting to say that if you were doing your very first Champ Car race and you had a chance to take the lead, and your engineer is saying, just take it easy, save a little fuel. I mean, come on, let me make a button.
There's Catherine Legg, currently scored in the 4th position. Driving for Dale Coyne Racing here in 2007. There was a lot of talk here, even as late as Saturday or Friday morning, about who was going to drive for the Dale Coyne teams.
Tristan Gamandi ahead of her.
Pay-by-touch machine.
A surprise announcement. You talked about how late it was for Catherine Legg, as Sebastian now is making the walk away from his car. He essentially flew to Laguna Seca, Mazda Raceway, got named as the driver, sat in the car for the very first time. They were building a seat for him while they announced that he had done the deal, and then found out he didn't have near the fitness to hang onto the car at a high G-force racetrack like Mazda Raceway at Laguna Seca, and he's been doing some weight training ever since.
Want more Champ Car race action? Subscribe to Race Director. Just go to www.champcar.ws. and choose from 6 different camera angles, and while you listen to Team Radio Communications, you can view live telemetry, all on your home computer. Race Director. Cameron. Check it. Let's check it.
Bill, I'll take it here. Thank you very much. Paul Tracy is coming back to pit road because when they came here, they did not get the car full of fuel. They also think Will Power did not get his car full of fuel. They changed 4 tires, sent them out. We'll have to check and make sure they did get it full this time. They didn't want to take a chance on running out. I asked one of the engineers earlier. He said we were woefully short of getting it full last time, and they stayed a long time last time.
Here come the leaders, but that's got to be so frustrating for Paul Tracy because we noted that he spent an inordinate amount of time on pit road the first time taking fuel, and then to find out it didn't fill. That's just very frustrating. But again, the teams have been working flat out to try and get this figured out. Some have it and some don't. And that is a very interesting question to find out if, in fact, Will Power in his quick pit stop did get his fuel.
Tagliani in the red and black machine, the race leader. Then Simone Pagenaud, a rookie. Gormundi, another rookie, is 3rd. Then Catherine Legg is 4th. Will Power scored in the 5th position. There you see the telemetry on the 8 machine of Tagliani.
Pagenaud looks like it's a little bit better for this section of the racetrack. Tag makes just one slip up. Pagenaud's going to be there. But so far, these guys are both working the track perfect. You see, Pagenaud gets it right up on this tail, right through this area, right through the slower stuff.
And again, we'll point out, Tagliani, according to our computer, has used up all of his Cosworth power to pass. And Pagenaud's trying to push that button, but he knows if he does, the engineers will be in his head.
Well, because he has to make it to the pits on a certain lap, and they just watch it so carefully. And on the dashboard, which is actually the very top of the steering wheel, it just gives him a constant readout of how much fuel he has burned and how much his fuel number is. Again, it's not that they don't have enough fuel. It's that if he can save a little, they can go one more lap before they pit.
The big story so far today, Graham Rahal did not make it to the first turn under green. Hit the wall along the right-hand side of the pit straight. And Sebastian Bourdais, the three-time series champion who started deep in the field, is out of the race after numerous tire problems.
It's Will Power working up through the field.
Catherine Legg in front of him. That's fourth. Legg is fourth in that yellow and black machine. Then the Aussie Vineyards machine of Will Power in fifth. Cameron, what are you working on?
Well, I can tell you, talking about what happened with Paul Tracy, I got some thumbs-up confirmation here at Team Australia that Will Power did indeed take a full load of fuel. Thumbs up all the way around. I can also tell you they're working feverishly on the system this morning before they came out to race.
They worked very hard. It could pay off for Will Power. Currently runs in the fifth position. Season opener for the 2007 Champ Car World Series. Alex Tagliani is scored as your race leader. There are the top five. You're watching the Champ Car Series on NBC. There's our race leader, Alex Tagliani. Let's check in with Michelle.
Just spoke to Paul Gentilozzi, who informed me that the leader, Alex, has 44 seconds on Power to pass it. Their strategy right now is saving fuel.
Well, that's interesting because the computer in our booth says he's used it all up.
And computers always tell us the truth, don't they?
Right, sure they do. You see me use my computer this weekend. You know I can't trust that.
It comes from a data stream, and there is occasionally some issues with data streams. So that is good news.
But they wouldn't mislead, Michelle.
I was going to say, wait a minute, we're talking about Paul Gentilozzi.
Well, that's true. But it is odd. Alex Tagliani, as a veteran, would know that at this stage of the race, to have none left would be very ill-advised.
According to our computer here, he's the only one that theoretically has used it all. A number of guys have used it. Catherine Legg has used it a little bit as well. Will Power, Aussie Vineyards ride, started from the pole. Pole sitter in two of the last three races, as Marty Snyder talked about earlier. That's Catherine Legg right in front of him. Legg runs in the fourth spot. Will Power in fifth. Tagliani is the race leader. Two of those Aussie Vineyard cars running in the top five.
Derek Walker, pretty happy with that team right now. I mean, you know, first race of the year, but he just really liked the way things came together over the winter.
When we saw Derek down in the paddock on Thursday, he walked up to you and goes, "Man, you're all grown up." And I felt like saying, "Boy, you haven't talked to Wally in a while." But you guys go way back, don't you?
Yeah. Well, Derek's been around IndyCar racing for a long, long time, and had some really good efforts.
There's Tagliani. He is the race leader.
Oh, and Alex Figge's back out. We saw him stopped after that chain reaction at the chicane, but he's out there as a rookie, getting some experience.
The other Pacific Coast Motorsports car. Teammates with Dale.
And with that section he just went through, and that was Tagliani followed in behind. So I believe the leader is on pit road.
Bill Stevens.
Here comes Alex Tagliani. Oh, is this a big pit stop as he comes in? Watch his fuel man, Randy Karpik. It's very important that he knows that that fuel cell is completely full. We've talked about it today. There's so much on his shoulders. Fuel's still going in. 4 new Bridgestone tires. He's waiting. He's waiting. He's watching that silver clear tube on the top of the filler, and it looked like he got all the fuel. Let's go to Cameron.
Right now, Tristan Gomendy is in the pit. He will be able to go the rest of the distance if indeed they get a full tank. You can see he's getting a hit from a stick behind there to let him know that they've got a full tank, a full dump. Jimmy Vassar, one of the team owners here at PKB, saying they will be able to go all the way to the finish from here.
And that's the rookie Pagano in front of Tagliani in that green and yellow machine.
So the Walker team has filled both of their team cars faster than the competition. One of those cars is way off song. You can hear a misfire, but boy, that was fantastic work by the Aussie Vineyards crew, Walker Racing. Excellent work. Oh, which car is that? That
sounds like that one right there. Let's listen.
Yep, Simone Pagano. Oh, crushing.
Engines, that's right. Something is wrong on the engine. Yeah, 10-4. Keep running with it. I see it on telemetry. Keep running.
They don't get better.
No, they don't get better. sometimes you can recycle. You heard that someone say earlier, recycle the ECU, that's engine control unit. That basically means reboot the computer. But generally when you have that kind of misfire, that doesn't help.
Tagliani right behind him.
Not for long.
So Tagliani makes the pass as they head for the chicane.
Feel bad for him here. He picked up the position in the pits and has no chance but to move it, keep it back.
You can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. So Tagliani takes the position, and Pagenaud is going to nurse it as long as he can.
If he doesn't get run over first.
Look out.
That's Tracy?
Yeah, Paul Tracy.
So Paul Tracy picks up the 6th position.
I believe got to think he's going to come to the pits this lap. I mean, he's way off the pace. He's just going to be in the way out there right now.
Settle down, calm down. Drive back to the pit lane, come into the pit. Pit this time.
So when he says calm down, up.
He got wound up, and because he knows, he feels like things probably just about to blow or something. What do I do? I believe they wanted him to do one more lap so they can analyze the telemetry to figure out what part to replace.
Yeah. Well, the thing is too, the team's got to understand he's getting run over out there.
Yeah.
So you're trying, you're as a driver, you say, hey, listen, I got these guys, I'm in the way, I don't want to wreck this thing. So yeah, he's probably a little bit wound up, but for good reason as well.
Absolutely. Catherine Legg taking advantage of it as well.
Now, if you're Derek Walker and company, are you wondering about Will Power?
Not really. It's an isolated. It could be any number of things.
Stop in the box.
Simone Pagenaud, the Atlantic champ from 2006.
Cosworth guys will be there waiting for him.
Yeah.
Come into the pit box, switch off, just sit tight.
It'll take a while.
Cameron.
Well, you can see they're getting work going immediately on the back of Simone Pagenaud's car. We're going to be moving over towards Derek Walker and Rob Edwards to try to get an update here in just a second and find out where they're going. And we're listening to the radio right now as well, boys.
We've got a problem with the engine. We need to fix it, okay?
That's a veteran voice trying to calm a rookie driver.
Yeah. Complimenting him on doing a great job, and when you have some type of electrical / engine related issue, he's just got to be patient. It's not going to be a race he's going to win, but he may get back out there and get some more valuable seat time.
His teammate is scored as the race leader.
Well, back at the point, Will Power, Pagenaud's teammate.
Started from the pole. Got schooled by Paul Tracy. Here's Robert Dornbos in second. He would be a rookie.
He would be a rookie, but he has a tremendous amount of experience, including Formula One. Talked to him today. He said he was a bit concerned about the rolling start. It was the very first rolling start he'd ever done. The first time he ever, this morning, in the final practice, had tried saving fuel. These are all new concepts on street racing and Champ Car and some of the strategies. But remember, his engineer is Michael Cannon, the very engineer that A.J. Allmendinger had last year when he was dominant.
So he's headed for pit road. 11 F1 starts in the last 2 years for Robert. And we'll head to the Minardi team for work. Bill Stevens.
Down here, guys, in comes Robert Dornbos, having a great run today. Again, the fuel cell situation. Team Minardi has actually stationed somebody up on the wall to make sure that that fuel fill begins to bubble. That indicates that that fuel cell is completely full. But as you can see, these gas stops are taking a little longer than normal. It seems like an eternity. The tires have already been changed, and he's away.
That's the race leader, Will Power, on the right. Aussie green and gold.
And you can hear Michael Cannon underneath just saying, take take it easy. It's going to be a really long stop. And if you looked in the vent hose, and we might want to go back and show a replay, but you could see in the vent hose just fuel pouring out of the vent hose, which normally is the signal for the fueler disengage.
And you can almost see the fuel.
Yeah, he wants to do it.
Pull out.
We're like, no, let it splash. It takes some time. And again, all of the teams have to use the identical parts. It's not like they can come up with some widget that fixes it. Champ Car is right on top of it. They've flown out all kinds of new parts, but unfortunately, some teams using the identical parts that they work great, and other teams are still struggling. The leader.
Will Power, race leader, being called to pit road next time by. For these drivers that are used to 6 or 7 second pit stops, that must be agonizing to sit there.
Is this a normal fuel run? Did he run that long?
Now you see, someone didn't tell us the truth.
I was going to say,
he pitted 16 laps ago. I don't think you're going to be pitting in 16 laps if you got a full load of fuel. You should be able to go 25. So, you know, when he did that quick pit stop,
yeah, we wonder.
You were on the money.
We'll see if that was his radio. They did. We heard radio traffic saying, hit this lap next time by.
Working around the hotels and the casinos in downtown Vegas.
He's coming up on pit entrance up here right after he gets through the chicane, so we'll see if he dives to the right.
This time, pit.
And there it is.
Here he comes, race leader to pit road. And again, just watch the fueler. Can be a very frustrating situation, but Will Power headed for his stall along pit road here at Vegas.
Right on the mark and taking a lot of fuel this time. Take a little bit longer. You're running great. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. Right on the mark.
They'll talk them all the way through. And let's take a look at.
Oh, there's a little miscue.
All right, we're all right. Just got to take a little bit longer on the fuel.
You want to keep an eye on the
time behind. When you go out, we got to go.
It's Derek Walker trying to keep him calm.
The fuel valve closed. The fuel valve closed.
Right in here. That's where you're looking. See all that fuel flowing?
Okay, go.
Wow. We are so used to seeing 6 to 10 second pit stops in Champ Car. I guess in this particular case, they obviously got pinned with the front tire.
Right.
And it was going to be a long stop anyway, but unfortunately, in order to get all the fuel, they just have to be ultra slow.
Extremely frustrating for the drivers and the teams. Bumpiest section of the track right here. 90% of this racing surface repaved for this race.
And that was about the difference in time. Now, Paul Tracy is back in front of Will Power, and that is about the time, you know, if you add it up, Paul Tracy was in there that much time in the pits longer than Will Power the first time.
Yeah, but Paul Tracy had to come back. So the fact that Paul Tracy now is ahead after making 2 pit stops, pretty impressive.
Tracy is running some very fast laps out there right now.
See how it all pans out. We'll be back in a moment with more from the Champ Car World Series Vegas Grand Prix after these messages and a word from our local NBC stations. Wild start to the 2007 season for the Champ Car World Series. 18-year-old Graham Rahal in his first Champ Car race hits the wall on the first green flag lap.
Not the start he was looking for, certainly, but tell you what, this guy's the real deal. He's gonna be good in these cars.
Alex Figge spun under caution.
Getting into the back of his teammate.
This is Will Power, the pole sitter, taking the lead back from Paul Tracy, who took it on the first green flag lap. Dan Clark into the tire wall. That's outside of turn 3. Justin Wilson fast early, but then difficulties put him out of the race. And he also made the long walk back to the paddock. 3-time series champion Sebastian Bourdais with a miserable day that is now over. Why? Because last time we saw his car, it looked like that. And finally, under team instructions, he just parked it in a safe place and went to McDonald's for lunch. Will Power came in as the race leader, had a little trouble getting into his pit stall there, and then it took forever to fuel the car a common problem we've seen throughout the day. Working lap 48, Bruno Junqueira scored as the race leader.
He's out of sequence, but he's leading. And at one time, we certainly saw him in a lot of trouble. And Wally, you thought that was the red tires going off. He's on the blacks now and obviously has good balance. Will have to make a pit stop and give up this position. But great ride for him. Again, another driver that wasn't confirmed until he actually got here on Thursday.
So what you're saying is that Paul Tracy and Will Power are racing for the lead. Is that what you're telling me, second and third?
Unless we have some odd Russian timing. But no better place to be running up at the front, gaining time. And who knows, maybe his car fills quickly. You know what, this race could be won by the one that could actually take a full load of fuel.
That's right.
in 10 seconds. You'd be miles ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, Paul Tracy is, I think, the fastest car on the racetrack right now, and here we go.
Well, let's see if the Dale Coyne operation can, in fact, have what we've become used to. That's Dale on the radio.
All clear out. Look for our toilet. Take your mark. No changes. Black tires only and fuel.
Cameron Steele.
I'm waiting here for Bruno Junqueira. Remember, he won a race in each of his first 5 seasons of the Champ Car last year. He was not able to do it now. You'll see the umbrella coming over on the back of the gas man. He is waiting to find out how much fuel is going into the car. They are going to be able to fill it a little short. They've shut it. Problem with the fuel fill going on right now.
I don't think he got a drop of fuel.
He is going to be coming back in, or he's going to run out of fuel.
Fueler was motioning from the beginning that there was no fuel flow whatsoever. And there's something that's called a dead man valve. It's just... Yeah. That's Dale Coyne.
We got to do it again. The valve's got to go straight. The valve never went.
There's Dale Coyne on the right.
Yes.
Team owner.
Save me some fuel. Pit. Kick.
The valve never opened. And I was talking about a dead man valve. That is a large valve that someone physically has to hold down with a spring. If there was ever a fire and you let go of it, it shuts off the fuel flow. But it sounded to me like that was the nozzle, not the dead man valve on the actual tank itself.
Paul Tracy, the race leader. Let's check in one more time on today's Mazda virtual pit stop. See where you viewers try and make the right call. Your last chance. Today's question was, who has the best chance to unseat Sebastian Bourdais as the Champ Car champion? And there are the results. Race leader Paul Tracy, a popular pick.
They know what they're talking about so far.
Yeah.
Will Power runs second. Tagliani scored third. Then the rookie Dumbros in fourth. Catherine Lake scored in the 5th position. Working lap 51. There's Tracy. Now this is Junqueira's pit stop.
Now watch immediately. Watch this. This is the sign. Give me fuel. Give it to me. Open it. It's not flowing. And the fact that he's motioning back to the dead man valve, but it appears as though the actual nozzle here, where it engages in the car, was the one that wasn't opening.
And I'm kind of surprised that they released that car. If there's no fuel going in, they must have known that. Why didn't they? You can hear Junqueira was revving the engine up. I think that fueler wanted to get out of the way of that right rear tire. But still,
I still should have said, wait, stop, don't go.
Because they're going to lose more time doing it this way than if they just would have taken care of the problem right there.
Especially if you don't make it back.
Tracy leads. Headed for turn 1. About 190 miles an hour when you get there. Tight left-hander. Then downhill, roughest section of the track. They couldn't smooth out this portion of the track because it's below the water table. They were afraid if they worked too deep, they might hit water.
Yeah, they said, yeah, you can grind if you want, but if you spring a leak, you might be in a couple $100,000 of a redo job underneath there. I said, well, you can live with a few bumps.
It'll be a fountain part of the race.
Marty Snyder.
Well, guys, Paul is cruising out there now. They've told him he's the fastest car on the track. He has not said one word since they had the fueling issue earlier in the race. He wanted no changes on that very first stop. They do have one more stop coming up relatively soon they have to make on this car.
Thanks, Marty.
Will Power gained on that lap.
Up update on power from Bill Stevens.
If you talk to Will Power, you're not going to be too surprised that he's running up the front, in the front, around the front, because all weekend long, that was the phrase that he used. We think we can run up front. We think we can run up front. His chief mechanic, David Faustino, has come up with a tremendous race package, according to Will. And just to show you how dominating he was in qualifying, his second fastest lap would have got at the pole.
Thank you, sir. NBC Monday, April 23rd, Heroes returns. They saved the cheerleader. Now it's time to save the world. Heroes returns with an all-new episode. Monday, April 23rd on NBC, the return of Heroes. Paul Tracy trying to be a hero here in Las Vegas. He's the race leader. Will Power runs second. Then it's Alex Tagliani, the rookie Robert Durhamboss, and Catherine Legg, the top 5 here in the Vegas Grand Prix.
And Will Power's lap times are unbelievable. He's done a 1:19.9 as his fastest lap of the race. Paul Tracy's fastest lap is a 21.3.
Yep, right now, Will Power is 1 second a lap, 1 second faster each lap.
That is huge in street racing.
See how it plays out as the timing clock ticks down here at the Vegas Grand Prix, the season opener of the Champ Car World Series, live on NBC. A lot of fun here at Vegas this week. Paul Tracy at an autograph session, making friends. Lives here in Vegas. And look at this. Paul Tracy, the race leader, and Will Power right behind him.
See if Tracy ducks in pit lane this lap.
The left-hander here. Through the chicane. If he goes to the right, it's to pit road. Stayed out. Less than 18 minutes of race time remains. So Tracy will pit next time by. 2.2 miles from there. You can see the clock counting down in the top left-hand corner of your screen, right above the running order. That's race time remaining. All Champ Car events in 2007 are timed events.
Now I'm going to be wondering if I'm Tracy. Okay, I got to come in and put fuel in. Does everybody else? That would be my next question to my crew chief.
The good news is, with 17 minutes left, he shouldn't need a complete full fill. And that's obviously, we already know that Paul Tracy is one of these cars today that takes a very long time to fill up. So that may be a blessing in disguise for the Forsythe team.
It's been a fueling issue with some of these DP01 chassis. Every team in Champ Car runs the same car. This is its first race. Some glitches were expected. Champ Car has worked very hard on the fueling issue, and the teams have worked extremely hard as well. Through the chicane on the pit road, Marty Snyder.
And he's coming this time, Bill, and they told him, Neil Mickelwright, one of his engineers told him, go as hard as you can go for these laps and then bring it to pit road. They asked Paul about chassis changes. He once again replied, none. This is a young man who's very hungry to win a race. His last win, June 2005, 22 races ago. He will bring it down pit road very slowly. There'll be no changes, and they'll get the fuel they need.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Let's listen to Neil Mickelwright.
You will get no drinks. Everything's going smooth. I want you to get ready. Get ready. Hold, go.
You heard him say, Bill, it was going to be a short fill, so that was a short fill. They did not need to get him full, as Jan pointed out earlier.
And by the time we could even circle the vent hose, they were gone. So what a bonus when you don't have to fill it up completely. You don't have that venting issue. And Paul's got to be feeling pretty good right now, because we know that Will Power will have to pit at some stage and get some fuel as well.
Power the race leader, then Tagliani runs in the second spot. There's Will Power.
Well, actually, I say we don't actually know for certain. I'm looking, he pitted 11 laps ago. Will Power may not have to stop again. Again, we'll have to do the math on the close down to 15 minutes and number of laps he's going to complete, but he may be good to go.
Yeah, that's why I was saying earlier, if I'm Paul Tracy, all right, I'll come in, but I want to know if he's coming in too, meaning Will Power.
Cameron, what are you working on?
Well, I've caught up with Will Power's teammate Simone Pagenaud in his rookie debut here in Champ Car. Not the way you're hoping it would go.
Well, yeah, I mean, what can I say? We've been doing a great job. You know, we were right on the pace all the weekend. I struggled a little bit in the beginning of the race with the cold tires, but after that we're right on the pace, fighting for a podium, which is good on a rookie day. I think we'll be a good contender for the championship. We just need to fix some reliability problem, and I think we'll be right there.
Today an engine problem put him out, and you'll remember that he missed the warm-up this morning with the fuel cell issue.
Difficult start to the season for the rookie.
Hey, Cameron, while you're there, find out if Will Power needs more fuel, because that could be...
Another car is
Neil
coming to a
Johnny.
stop. Yes.
Neil Johnny has pulled into the drive-through.
The rookie, born in Switzerland, lives in England, 23 years old. Formula One test driver in 2006.
Alex Figge.
Looks like he's had another spin. Had one earlier.
The Halmatro safety team thankfully hasn't been utilized for any extrications, which is what Halmatro builds, which is why they've sponsored a safety team this year. But they're getting their exercise,
yes, they
getting
are.
people restarted. When these onboard starters get perfected, they should have an easy day.
And that's a new addition to the car in 2007.
Yes, and as Cameron was saying, these cars will start when they're cold. Unfortunately, they just don't have enough power at the moment to fire up when they're hot. But again, that's a work in progress.
Bill Stevens.
Guys, I just talked to Paul Gentilozzi, and you can see Alex Tagliani is back in. They thought they were going to be able to go the distance, but they were banking on another yellow flag. They didn't get it. It's a splash and go for the number 8 car.
So Tagliani heads off of pit road.
Okay, he did 18 laps. Will Power has done 13. So Will Power, it just depends on if he filled it up last time.
Well, Jan, I can tell you from down here in the pits, I just got the nod from Derek Walker and the engineer and another crew member. Now remember, this could be a chess game they're playing with me. They're giving me the thumbs up all the way around. They believe they can go to the end of the race.
But they told you that the last time, right, Cameron?
Well, it's not the first time I've been lied to, especially down here in the pits, because, you know, everybody's listening to everyone else, and you're never sure if you're getting the true story. But I will say the crew is all up on the wall. So we'll see what happens here as we get closer to the end of the race.
Cameron, just text them and see if they respond.
Yeah, there you go. Alex Tagliani.
Paul Tracy, currently scored in the 5th position. He's 39 seconds behind the race leader. Different pit strategies playing out here in Vegas, as we see throughout the year in the Champ Car World Series. Through the chicane, and down through the tunnel. And here's where you're hustling the car. Let's get an update from Marty.
Well, Bill, so I don't get accused of lying, I'm going to let Neil Mickelwright tell us the truth. Can you guys make it all the way on fuel, Neil?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No problem at all.
No, we're good to go now on fuel. We're just giving it everything we've got, hoping a few other people have to stop or slow down to make it.
The one quote that Neil told Paul earlier on was, I want you to drive as hard as humanly possible. You have the car to win this race.
Probably don't have to tell that to Paul Tracy.
That might bite you. I'd say drive just a little under what's humanly possible, so we have a car to take to Long Beach. But Neil Mickelwright, we listen to him a lot on the radio. He really has kind of a soothing, encouraging kind of tone. And you know what? When you're riding around in a race car, the only guy who's riding with you is the one on the radio, and he's one of the best.
And Neil's been there a long time.
Yeah.
Will Power, the race leader, less than 11 minutes left here in Vegas. When we come back, we'll take you right to the checkered flag in the Vegas Grand Prix on NBC. Coming down to the 8-minute mark here in the Vegas Grand Prix. All timed events in 2007. This one 1 hour and 45 minutes and 8 minutes now left to go in this race. You can see the clock ticking down in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. Will Power is the race leader.
By a bunch right now, too. Got about a 16-second lead on second place. There's Will. If he's got enough fuel, everybody else is in trouble, y'all.
And he hasn't backed off enough. If he was in fuel trouble, his lap times would be quite a bit slower. So it does appear at the moment, as we take a look at Robert Doornbos, who has worked his way. Fantastic debut for him. He runs second at the moment.
Update from Cameron Steele.
Tristan Gomendy coming in right now, and you'll remember, you can see him sliding past the marks. Everybody here in pit road talking about how slippery the pits are. There you saw the tap. It was just a splash. You will remember, however, though, that Champ Car veteran Jimmy Vasser did tell me they had enough fuel to go all the way. They ended up needing a splash.
That might not be a lot of fun to drive in the last few laps for him, huh?
I'm not sure if he, it may have looked, the right front you're talking about, when he flat spotted that tire, I'm not sure. It probably looked a little bit worse than it really was.
At that speed in the pits, it should be okay. But you can see him. It's so interesting that you can see the body language, because he slipped past his mark. He's like, oh man, sorry.
Yeah, and the third guy was going, it's okay.
It's all right, don't worry about it. You just need fuel anyway. The marks are really important when you're getting a tire change, because obviously the guys have, in this particular series, you have the opportunity to put the wheels in place. And you saw what happened when it was one of the Team Australia cars that came in. Will Power. Pagano.
Yeah.
You can pinch a guy against the wall, and so the marks are really important.
You see the drivers doing the job on the track. Assisting today is one of the most experienced group of marshals ever assembled for a Champ Car race. Among the 100-plus volunteer marshals are participants from the U.S. and Canada, plus a dozen from England, 6 from Holland, and 2 from Germany. The average experience level here, over 20 years per marshal. More of the same next week when we get to the Long Beach Grand Prix. You'll see it here on NBC.
Tristan Gomendy, we're watching, and he's a driver we talked about earlier who physically did not have enough strength, and he is a fit guy.
5 laps to go. Let's push.
And he is a fit guy that in a high-speed racetrack, physically, because there's so much downforce on this car, felt as though the steering was locking in the corners, just didn't have enough strength to turn it.
Yeah, these cars they're very physically demanding to drive. I mean, people don't realize how, I like using the word violent. I mean, when you hit the gas pedal, it throws you in the back of the seat. When you go through a corner like that, you're pulling G's. And now you get to the turn 1 and you're jamming on the brakes and you're being thrown forward in the car. I mean, these cars beat you up when you drive, especially on a track like this.
Well, what a great feeling, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's fun. That's why we do it. But
let's get thrown back in the seat. Let's hang on the belts. Let's slam our sides to get to side, because that's what makes it fun.
Wally, that's the ride back to the hotel. Robert Doornbos runs in second position. The rookie, who, as Jan pointed out, a lot of F1 experience, 11 F1 starts in the last 2 years.
And I think the key here, as I mentioned earlier, the name Michael Cannon. He has the engineer last year who originally was with this team, moved over to Forsyth and worked. You see him on the upper left of the screen. He was the brain trust behind A.J. Allmendinger's setups last year when he just dominated. And you may say, well, wait, it's a different car, so those setup sheets don't work. Well, you know what? It's still the same tires. It's still the same engine. The car's about the same weight. So if you have the computer know-how to transfer what you had on the old car, those things still work. Bill?
I talked to Robert Doornbos before the race, a fascinating young man. Obviously, he has a chance of being the top finishing rookie today. But what's really interesting with him is that up until today, he had never had a running start in a race car. In Formula One, it was always a standing start. And the only other street race he ever competed in was in Formula One in Monaco.
He picks the good venues, doesn't
he? And Monaco, this place has got to be like a 100-acre field to race in compared to Monaco. Because Monaco is one of the tightest street courses you'll ever race on.
Yeah. Well, they do have a tunnel. We have tunnels. I'll be honest, I didn't expect to see tunnels in Las Vegas. We got a couple of them here, though. They're pretty exciting.
There's the hometown boy, Paul Tracy, the Canadian, lives here in Vegas. Currently runs in the 3rd spot, but more than 30 seconds behind race leader Will Power with 3 minutes plus to go.
Hey, Marty, has Paul Tracy asked yet if those other guys got a pit?
He has, and he said all they replied back was, you're a long way back from the guy in front of you. I think he's some 15 seconds behind second place at this point. But as you mentioned, Bill, his hometown race, he hasn't won in a year and a half, signed a brand new sponsor this week in Monster Energy Drink. He finished second 3 times last year. He described last year as very frustrating. This may be a frustrating start to 2007. Even though he's going to finish well, they know they had a car that could have won this race.
Yeah, but you know what? When you're in that situation, at least you have some hope. I mean, you know you're going to be able to fix that problem. At least you're not out to lunch. When you are competitive and you have problems, that's a little bit easier to take, I think, sometimes than if your car's just not running well and, you're not getting the finishes.
And he just drove by his nemesis, the McDonald's car of Sebastian Bourdais. And any day that you're getting more points than Sebastian Bourdais is a good one.
Because there haven't been very many of those in the last few years. And how about Will Power? Looking at his first Champ Car World Series win.
2 laps to go. 2 laps to go. Keep going.
Tracy heads into turn 1.
They want him to push just in case the calculations are wrong for Will Power. He's not going to catch him if nothing happens to Will.
There's the race leader. Less than 2 minutes away from his first victory. His second full season in the Champ Car Series. Won the pole at Surfers Paradise last year.
I think that was the breakthrough for him. He went out on a street course in Surfers Paradise that's similar to this, especially there with the big curves. He let it hang out in his home country. He got the pole position, and he's been a different guy ever since. He's just gained that confidence, and he's almost unstoppable.
Last lap here at Las Vegas. Will Power, the race leader. An 18-second lead over Doornbos.
Sounds like he's saving fuel right now. I mean, when he went through the chicane that time, normally he would just lighten it up, and boy, he really laid the throttle down easy. In fact, I don't know who that is trying to catch him right there.
Bruno
Chikara. But it looks like he's taking it easy this lap.
Well, you would, even if he had fuel. You don't want to push it when you have an 18-second lead. But he was calling back. What'd you say? I want to be sure I get it right. He is so mild-mannered, but he gets with it in the race car. As far as personality-wise, he's pretty laid back. But you know what? When he had his qualifying time here yesterday, he was all fired up. But just walking around the paddock talking to him, he's very unassuming.
Past the hotels and the casinos in downtown Las Vegas for the final time.
I think Marty asked him this morning, didn't he?
Yeah.
You can qualify. You got what it takes to win a race.
Yep. And he said he thought they were there. Derek Walker, looking for his first Champ Car Series win since 1999. Out of the tunnel, up the hill for the final time. The Champ Car season begins in Las Vegas, and Will Power is the winner.
Got it, Will. You got it. Well done. Fantastic job, Will. Fantastic job.
Robert Doornbos coming home for second.
Whoa, that was close.
And Paul Tracy looking for the third position. Well, I would imagine there might be some Aussie Vineyards wine consumed.
I would think that's a possibility.
To Cameron.
Well, the excitement, as you can imagine, here in Team Australia's pit. Happy birthday to Mr. Derek Walker, of course. Dave Faustino getting his first pole here as your engineer and his first win, and a nice birthday present for you. It's got to be thrilling.
Well, it's a birthday for the whole team, actually, and my partner, Craig Gorey, couldn't be here today. He's in Australia. I'm sure he's got to be watching, so thanks, Craig. Good job.
I know that you had some frustrations leading into the race. You were working on the fuel filler. You also had some problems with Simone Pagenaud's car. Were you thinking it might be a problem-filled day, or were you hoping it all got behind you?
Well, you just never know. You know, the guys have been working non-stop since we got here. You know, we've done a lot of testing, but still, you're never done till you get it out there and race it. The guys worked hard. Everything worked on the day, so we won the race. It was a good job all around.
There you have from Derek Walker, a little Easter and birthday present together. Let's go down to Bill Stevens.
Down here with Michael Cannon, the crew chief for Robert Doornbos. I watched you the last 10 minutes. You were fidgeting, wringing your hands, wiping your brow. Tell me how good it feels right now.
It's lovely. I mean, I thought we were going to do another all-stinger and get the guy first win, first outing, but I mean, Power had a very strong car. They're a good bunch of guys. I'm very happy for Walkers. But there've been a lot of cars having problems, falling by the wayside. So it's a new car to everybody. I mean, we're pretty nervous, but boys did a great job.
And your strategy today seemed to work to perfection.
Actually, we were forced into that strategy a little bit. So we didn't get all the fuel in the car on the first stop, but we knew it'd be close. We got him safe fuel, and he did it for us.
I have to ask you, I know you don't wish anybody ill, but to see what happened to the 3-time champion today, and to know that there's a long season ahead of us, there may be some parity this year.
Oh, indeed. I mean, we gave Seabass a good run last year, but make no mistake, Sebastian's an excellent competitor. He'll be back just as strong as ever at the next race, I guarantee.
What a debut for Robert Doornbos.
Thanks, guys. An exciting day here in Las Vegas. Paul Tracy comes home third, his 73rd career Champ Car podium. 30 of those victories. Paul remembers them all, and this is one Will Power will never forget. His first win in the Champ Car World Series. He led 29 of the 68 laps today. Now he heads for the celebration. You call that a surprise winner, Jan?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's easy to say that now, but he was the class of the field in qualifying. It was just, could he keep the car together? And that's the question that Marty asked. You're a heck of a qualifier. How are you as a racer? Well, he answered Marty's question definitively today.
Well, he started first, and he finished first. He's congratulated by his team, and somewhere down there in that celebration is Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, it's been 8 years for this race team, for Walker Racing, since they won. It was Portland back in 1999. They last pulled into victory lane. Today they do it here in Las Vegas, the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix. And I asked Will earlier, you know, are you seasoned enough to win a race? He told me off camera, I know we have the pace. I just hope I can do it. Not lacking any confidence, though. He pulled it off today. And his first career win. Will Power, everyone. Feels good, doesn't it? How long have you dreamed about that, Will?
Oh, mate, yeah. I mean, since Surfers Paradise last year when we got taken out, we were in the lead. But, no, it was a good race. We did our strategy. We got Tracy back on a restart. Oh, no, he made a mistake, and then we just cruised along. At the end there, you know, I had no brakes. I just had to sort of coast into the corners. But, yeah, I mean, the team did a great job. And without the support of Aussie Vineyards, we wouldn't be here.
You had to get around Tracy. Were you worried, though, when your teammate fell out?
No, I didn't know he was out. Yeah, I saw him crawling around, but I had no idea. I was just on my program.
All right, a nice birthday present for his Carl and Derek Walker. Congratulations. Let's go to Cameron Steele.
Thank you, Marty. I'm here with Paul Tracy, and Paul coming home third, but you seem a little bit frustrated with that.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great car today. Obviously, Will was quick, and I was quick. We were pulling away from everybody, but the first pit stop, I had to come in again and get fuel for 4 laps. So the car didn't take the fuel on the pit stop, which really compromised our race. I think we were one of the quickest cars on the track, lap for lap. But, you know, hats off to Walker Racing and Will. We had a good result, and, you know, it's good to finish on the podium in our home race.
All right, congratulations to Paul Tracy and all our winners. We'll send it back upstairs.
Thanks, guys. The celebration underway here at Las Vegas. Will Power gets his full win. The veterans with some good runs. But how about the Roush Franz rookies? It could be a really interesting year for those Roush Franz rookie contenders.
I mean, they're really good. They've got so much experience when they get to this point. But I was really surprised how everybody did a really heads-up job as far as driving for, you know, being rookies.
And Catherine Lake ties her career best finish with a 6th. There you see the rest of the finishing order. Tough day for Graham Rahal.
And his expectation was he really thought that he could finish on the podium, and he said so confidently. Nothing worse than getting out in the very first corner.
Been a lot of fun here in Vegas. A reminder that the Champ Car World Series returns to NBC next Sunday, April 15th at 4 Eastern with live coverage of the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Coming up next on the West Coast only, it's the National Heads Up Poker Championships. And for everyone else, coming up next, it's your local news. And starting at 7, 6 Central, don't miss an all-new Dateline NBC, followed by Deal or No Deal and The Apprentice on NBC. For Wally Dollarback Jr., Jan Beekes, Marty Snyder, Cameron Steele, Bill Stevens, and Michelle Beisner, I'm Bill Weber. So long from Las Vegas, where Will Power gets his first career win in the Vegas Grand Prix. The Champ Car season is underway in 2007, and we'll see you next week from Las Vegas. Thanks for having us in for the race, and happy Easter from all of us at NBC.